Did you know that in 2022, President Biden and the Democrats significantly boosted the IRS's budget to modernize it and more closely scrutinize big corporations and high-income earners?
It's quite surprising, but the Republicans in Congress have already managed to cut back $20 billion from this increased IRS funding.
I heard that House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader Charles E. Schumer have agreed to reduce IRS funding in the 2024 budget. Instead of $80 billion, the IRS would now get $60 billion.
Biden had already agreed to a $20 billion cut in IRS funds last year during negotiations with Kevin McCarthy, but this was supposed to happen more gradually.
Johnson is looking to further cut the IRS budget by $10 billion in 2025, though these discussions are still a long way off.
This extra funding for the IRS was meant to hire experts to tackle complex tax avoidance schemes and improve technology for easier tax filing.
Despite this funding, the IRS supposedly can't accurately identify taxpayers making less than $400,000 a year for audit purposes.
The Republicans are really against this funding, claiming it's just a way to target middle-class Americans with more tax audits.
Because of these ongoing budget cuts, the IRS's long-term plans for modernization might be at risk.
Deputy Treasury Secretary Wally Adeyemo emphasized that these budget cuts might allow the wealthy to continue evading taxes unfairly.
IRS Commissioner Daniel Werfel reassured that the current budget cuts won't impact this year's tax season or the agency's modernization in the next few years.
Originally, the IRS planned to use most of the $80 billion in the later years for major tech upgrades and hiring, but now they have to adjust their spending plans.
Werfel warned that cutting funds for technology modernization will delay improvements and require using funds for ongoing operations instead of enhancements.
Republicans argue that reducing the IRS's expanded budget is crucial and a popular decision among the public.
The IRS, struggling with outdated systems, showed significant improvement in the 2023 filing season, answering 85% of calls and clearing backlogs.
But if the funding dries up, the IRS might not be able to maintain these service improvements.
White House officials are hoping that recent improvements will convince people to support more funding for the IRS in the future.
However, Republicans have already managed to make significant cuts to the IRS budget and are aiming for more.
Budget Director Shalonda Young stated that the administration won't agree to more than $20 billion in cuts to ensure the IRS can maintain its operations.
There's concern that if the IRS is underfunded again, it might lead to biased auditing processes, potentially targeting Black Americans unfairly.